Hey, what's up guys, Tony, and right now we are doing another Ryzen build for my buddy Daniel from the previous video about the Ryzen build. Daniel, you want to name off all the parts you have in your stupidly high-end rig?
I got quite a few here, Tony. And I'm sure that your viewers will be delighted to see. We got all Noctua fans here.
Yeah, that's the...
We got 3 NF 812x15s. Super slim, super quiet. That is kind of what's needed.
Super high-end.
Super expensive. We have a bit of an unusual case here. It is the RAIJINTEK Metis Plus.
What a name.
What a name, I know. It's a very nice case. I rather like it. It's completely made of aluminum. It's got side window, a couple of spots for fans, and it's really compact, which is the main thing I kind of wanted. Well, that and a quiet PC, which is the reason for the Noctuas, but that's beside the point. We also have a Zotac GTX 1080 Mini. The reason for this particular card is because, quite simply, no other 1080 would really fit in here. I mean, you might be able to fit a reference design, but you'd have to pull out the front I/O and
all that stuff.
Plus, this is a lot quieter.
Yeah, it's real nice.
Yeah.
It doesn't get above or it's super cool.
It is super cool. But you know what else is super cool? An NHD 15. We're putting this gigantic cooler in a small form factor case, but it'll work with millimeters to spare. So yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I like about the box is so large that it fits all the remaining parts that we haven't set in.
That is very true,
It is
Tony.
hilarious. And your CPU of choice?
CPU of choice is the 1700X. While it's true I probably could have gone for the 1700, they were the same price at the time of purchase, and with this I have a better chance of getting higher overclocks at lower voltages, so I figured might as well. And 8 threads, or 8 CPUs, 16 threads is going to be wonderful for things like, say, 7-zip or whatnot, video encoding.
You're upgrading from an i7 with hyperthreading to a 4.4.
That is true. I'm upgrading from an old Mobo Sandy Bridge processor.
So it's going to be it's not going to be an upgrade, it's going to be a new generation for you, pretty much.
Or a few generations ahead of Sandy Bridge by this point, Tony. Alright, for our motherboard we have the AsRock AB350 ITX here. This is, it's got the AM4 socket, of course, for our wonderful processor there, and it'll fit just nicely inside of our case. And for our power supply, we are going for the Corsair SF 600. Now, the reason for the SFX instead of the ATX, which this case can take, by the way, is to allow more room for the graphics card. It's just due to the way the case is laid out. Having a shorter PSU will make it a lot easier to fit the larger GPU in there.
Yeah, you really thought about the whole shebang, didn't you?
That I did.
It all in.
I have.
You're cutting it so close around.
So cutting it very close, yes.
This might be one of the most compacted, high-end computers on YouTube.
It just might be, Tony.
It's just ridiculous how. The only thing that if this thing had the word TI in it, I think it'd be stupidly compact.
And expensive.
And expensive, yeah.
That's one thing you can't forget, folks.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, those are the parts, and let the $1,500 Ryzen build begin.
There we go.
Okay, so yeah, we just have everything put together and whatnot. As you can see, the cooler overshadows the motherboard. You can't even see it underneath all these cables right here. Everything does indeed work and runs quite nicely. We forgot to say in the introductory part of this video that we have 16 gigabytes of Ballistix RAM clocked at what? 2400 megahertz.
Yeah.
And we're just prepping right now to get this whole thing going.
so I'm going to say there is going to be no mounting of drives in the intended locations.
Okay, Daniel, you want to recap what we just said and all the issues?
Okay, so a bit of a side note, well not really a side note, kind of a big issue here. This cooler protrudes so far outside on this, to the case, we cannot mount our, my SSD and hard drive here in the actual intended location. So we'll have to figure out somewhere else to mount it. Now this case does have more mounts up at the top, but that'll kind of interfere with GPU airflow. So instead of what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to mount it straight to the front of the case, in front of the GPU. I'll just use double-sided tape and it should be good.
There we go. It's going to be fantastic.
Fantastic. Just because putting on these side panels will make it very difficult to get to the front here, which is where we're mounting stuff.
Yeah. So this is the whole build so far?
Yeah.
That is nice.
So let's see what it's going to look like with the side panel.
Just
That's a problem.
all you're going to see is fan.
This fan and a bit of the Zotac logo. So in this case, the airflow actually works out pretty good. We got a fan in the top, which takes in air right above the GPU here. And the GPU, it'll exhaust a bit out the back, but it'll come down through here. We got a nice open area here, where then it'll be all exhausted by the CPU cooler out the back. And this does mean that since the CPU is exhausting the air from the GPU, that when the GPU is going, CPU will be a bit warmer, but that's fine. It stays reasonable. And as far as the PSU fan, I actually have the PSU fan on the other side here, over here, and there's vents on the bottom, and so it's kind of like in its own little environment there.
Are you going to talk about like how you mounted your hard drives and your SSD?
That I will. So in this case, the SSDs, hard drives, whatever, they're meant to be mounted to the bottom of the case. That is in this area down here underneath the CPU cooler. However, with the NHD15 here, it's so large that there quite simply is no room to mount them there. So I have a 1 terabyte SSD and a 1 terabyte hard drive, both attached to the front panel with double-sided tape. Some really strong stuff to be certain, but still, I mean, not the most elegant. Works out pretty good though. Cables are actually semi-organized. They're at least out of the way of airflow. And yeah, so that's that.
Okay, so now that we're done with this computer build, as you can see, it looks very nice with that ultra wide in the background. I know you'll be mounting it to your desk.
Yes, I got a monitor arm. We'll be doing that as soon as this video is over.
Yeah, and you've done some overclocking, haven't you?
Yes, that's right. I got my 1700X up to 4 gigahertz.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty fast for Ryzen there. It's got the voltage at 1.33 volts. However, under load with this particular motherboard, V-droop is actually pretty bad, it seems. It drops to 1.28 volts. There's no load line calibration on this board, so I'll just kind of have to live with it, but it seems pretty stable so far. I've run a few hours of Prime 95.
And it's been staying cool.
Yeah, it's been staying cool. Even with Prime 95 running for hours at a time, the CPU has on top 55 degrees Celsius, which is
like those 3 Noctua fans inside there, just like crazy.
Yeah, and quiet.
Yeah, and it's not loud at all, really,
I mean,
for what it is.
Yeah, it's running now.
It's ridiculous.
You know, it's not going to interfere with the video. It's quiet enough.
Yeah, it's quiet. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, yeah, I'll still need to verify the overclock. I want to run at least 8 hours of Prime 95 to be certain. And then I'll probably be overclocking the memory as well, just because I have 2400 and Ryzen likes its RAM speed. So yeah.
Yeah. So like the video if you liked it, dislike, subscribe for more content with me and Daniel.
Yes, you might just see me back here again.
So, see you next time.
Yes.